Right?
Well, we'll get like 20 more bucks each.
I totally breaks my heart that so many of them.
The panels are too short. We should all.
The
You're
Q&A.
allowed to talk longer.
Yeah, well, the Q&A should be like 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
Because they have so many questions. What's that?
For me, when I'm sitting
Oh, I
at a
love it.
panel.
I wish like that first 30 minutes didn't happen. Like the clips and all. It's just like, let's open it up to Q&A right now.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're there for.
They really are to find out their question. You know?
What must be for you a good superhero?
What's that?
What must be for you a good superhero? Which qualities the man must have to be a superhero?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Did you hear?
Well,
What are the characteristics that
a good superhero.
Oh, the characters.
It's a general question, yeah.
One of the things I've learned from how Berlanti does his shows is they have to have a very human quality, or they're not believable. They have to have something. They don't have to be damaged, but they have to have a very human side to them, so that their superhuman side is even bigger. So that you have to know that at any point they can actually die, and then when they don't, you know, it's like in I can't ruin the Marvel movie, right? Who gets sued.
Don't look at me.
But like Infinity War, you know, it's there's a lot of stuff happening there where some of the superheroes are more human. So I think that's a good quality to have. And otherwise they're boring because they're just running around in suits.
I agree with that. I was actually with my son came in and True. We kind of binge watched. We started with the first Iron Man, and the second, and we tried to put it together in order. And then there was the Avengers, and then there was, and we kept going on. And one of the things that I did notice in the scores, I thought the scores as you went further became a lot more emotional. You had a lot more emotional thematic material that, for me, made you feel more for the character. Yeah, when all of the big action happened in rah-rah, that's one. But that you really, really started caring for these various characters, as Black Widow starts kind of falling for the Hulk. That's an interesting thing that makes you feel more for them. And they started weaving them within the whole musical story fabric in there, and I thought that was really, really effective. And it started happening, I believe, more a little bit more at the Avengers, and then at the first Avengers, and then as you went on and on. By the time you get to Infinity Wars, there's all of that material is there, pretty complete there, and you have a musical touchstone for everybody in their sort of backstory.
Well, in real life, I want my superheroes to be very effective crime fighters.
Yes.
I don't care what they're going through in their personal lives. But in my movies and comic books and stories, all of what these guys are saying is true. And furthermore, it's also true for any character in any story you want to tell. You want to make sure they're fully developed and three-dimensional. Otherwise, you don't care about them.
Would say I don't reshuffle the deck. In other words,
from all the versions you make for the compositions, how do you know this is the one?
You mean when it's right, when it works?
When you're writing the version.
I don't know. There's a certain feeling you get as you forget that you're writing the music and you become an audience member again, and you kind of watch it and you step back and you go, is this working? Am I engaged in the story? And on the flip side, if you're just listening to the music, it's not working. So, and it can be as simple as getting rid of a few things or adding more. But it's also not a singular business. So we bring our collaborator and the storyteller, and they ultimately tell us, yep, that works great, or no, it's not working.
You were out of your mind that night.
I don't know if your question refers to multiple versions of completed versions, complete pieces of music that are different from one another, or how the music progresses as it's being composed. But for me, it's I'm sure these guys are the same way. I have a reflex when I hear any piece of music. And maybe this is revealing just how truly megalomaniacal I am, but it's hard for me to hear any piece of music without thinking to myself, oh, I might have done this different, or maybe I would change that. And that's the same goes for my own music. Basically, I keep working on a piece of music until I don't hear that voice anymore, until there isn't a part of me that I am personally satisfied listening. Now, of course, I'm just one person out of many. I have clients, and they're going to have to listen to it and react the same way, and they're going to obviously react differently than I do, because that's being a human being is, and a music appreciator. But that's for me personally, how I know when I'm done with something is I can't think of anything else to do, basically.
Well, quite some of these guys, one of the biggest processes for being a television or film composer, writing the picture, is being an active listener. I sit and I listen to the music as much as I write. I mean, it's a bit of time of writing and then crafting and all that, but I'm sitting there, I'm listening to it here. I go in the other room, like I'm in the other room at home, and kind of heard that in there. I want to hear it from that standpoint. I come up here, I turn it down low, I turn it blazingly loud, trust me, which probably because I kind of want it that way at the mix. That's another thing. But you have to be this active listener, and you keep listening until the questions don't come. There's always things that are nagging you. There's something. Why is this bumping me? Why is it bumping me? And I'm one of the people who's been to virtually every mix of every show I've ever done. And what I do is I'm not just there to help them get along, but I'm also learning more. I'm listening to it. This producer, what makes him bump on that piece of music? This producer, what makes him bump on it? This director, what makes him, feel good or bump on something? And I bring all of that experience into all of my shows, and I'm actively listening with all those voices in my head, and constantly going back to my notes, going back to, hey, they had asked what, and you were saying about your team being not yes men and whatnot. I had this wonderful my right hand guy, Renee. And first of all, I spend most of my days in a dark room with an old Dutchman, and Mr. Van Versfeld will say, Kurt, well, they asked for such and such to make a turn right here at this point, right here at 01:25:27. Right there, seriously, right there. See here, see there, and you didn't turn there. I said, oh, yeah, there's that. Sounds great though. It sounds really fantastic, just barreling through. But oh, crap. Okay, the heck with it. Okay, we'll change. We'll make that turn that he needed. There's technical things that people require, and just artistically what they're trying to feel. Because remember, we're a cog in a wheel of someone else's overall vision, and our job is to help them. If we're doing it right, it would feel to them like as if they were a composer and they were able to have done it themselves, and it just feels that natural, and we got exactly what we wanted. They got exactly what they wanted, and we got to do something that we totally believe in.
I think the whole idea of active listening is totally true for me anyway. When my kids take over the music in my car and they're on their iPod, I only get to hear the first half of any song, so I made a rule, like, I don't care if I hate the song, I want to hear the song from beginning, middle, to end. Like, I want to understand. So, you get one skip per trip, and the rest of the time, you got to let it play to the end. To me, it's like somebody ripping a book out of your hand when you're not quite done. It's really jarring to me when, especially if I like it, or even if I don't, in the middle of the song, just skip to the next one. Anyway, I think I can't help but listen actively to any music that's in front of me.
Yeah, you can't turn it off. I think that's probably a common thing with all. It's one of the things that you need when I do need rest. When it's like finally the end of the season, and you're just like, okay, I really, really need to go. And
that's why when my kids are not in the car, I just listen to podcasts.
Yeah, I just want to stop. I want to quit analyzing music when it literally brings me pain sometimes to hear music after I'm that full point, and I just want to, because it's not me. It's not me sitting back and listening. It's me saying, should have done this. Oh my God, I would never have mixed that way. This would have been. Oh, you're just listening in that in that heightened sort of sense all the time. And it's nice to turn it off and actually feel and enjoy music for what it is, and a piece for what it was meant to do.
Was there any character or show that was particularly tough for you to crack, and what was your entry point? What was the aha moment?
The pathway to get there is something different every time, you know.
I don't think there wasn't a show that was particularly hard to crack, but there are episodes that are hard to crack within that show. One of the things that's really challenging is with television you develop a sound for a show and you return to it week after week, and you've got certain themes at work. And for instance, this year on Arrow, we're coming to the end of the season, and there's an entire episode that just dealt with this one villain who I decided I wasn't going to write a theme for because we're not going to really know him. And then all of a sudden he has this entire episode. Arrow's not even in the episode. So it was like, okay, none of the sound of the show works because it's a different character.
Yeah.
None of the themes work. It's like total do-over. So that was a challenge.
They didn't tell you that he was going to become the main villain.
Didn't know he was going to be the main baddie, and he's going to have a whole backstory. So that's challenging.
I think as professional composers, we can't help but get ideas that we like for certain things. I think it's really less about struggling to find something that we like and maybe more about struggling to find something that our clients like. And I've certainly been in situations where I've worked with challenging directors where I have spent literally months spinning my wheels, trying different things, totally different styles of music. There's one director I work with in particular who I always say he's never satisfied until he feels like I have suffered. It's so bad.
You said that out loud? we're being taped here.
I didn't name him. It got so bad that I never think this way. I don't like to play games, but like sometimes I just feel like if I just, put out whatever for V1, V2, V3, by the time we get to V8, V9, we're starting to get into the area where he feels like I've suffered enough, and maybe that's the music that will end up sticking. But of course, if I ever try that, that'll be the time when he's like, "Hey, the first try, you got it on the first try, congrats!" I'd be like, "Well, no, not that."
Was this conversational? We were just talking and I was playing.
For me,
Conversation.
the more difficult situations are sometimes like in television as opposed to, I think it happens a little bit more if there's a little bit more of a committee type way of looking at this. There can be multiple producers sometimes on shows and the studio, and so many of them. You can come to some shows where a lot of people are having their hands in it and giving out notes and whatnot, and that can be challenging too. Because at the end of the day, I want everybody to feel like they were heard. If you can bring a little bit, so the way I will go at it is again active listening to what they're actually saying. And what's complicated is a lot of times people cannot have a clear conversation about music in words. A lot of times you just can't say what it is that we're doing. You're and that can be true. The three of us can sit here and not have the best words to say about what it is that we do. Now, when you bring in someone who does not really understand music and try to have that conversation, that becomes a little bit more difficult from time to time. And I've had occasions where the biggest challenge of all is deciphering multiple individuals, and then now once you've deciphered what it is, where they're each coming from, now how do I make them all feel heard? Because if you leave someone out, then it's going to be it's going to be drama time. More drama than it's on the screen. So that's the biggest challenge.
I also remind myself constantly that we're more like actors. That ask the actors to do several several different takes to get it right, and they're not really feeling it from that performance. But at some point, it's like, well, that's the actor you have, so he can only or she can only do it so many different ways. And I remind myself, it's like they think that we're capable of creating any type of music that they can think or hear, but it's like, I only do this stuff. So at some point, I've run out of takes, and you need a different actor, you need a different composer. And it's frustrating to them because they see like, well, but that's a piano, and that's a piano that I'm hearing at Starbucks, and I really like that piece. I'm like, yeah, but I can't write it. So it's interesting that, man, I mean, they're not going to push Johnny Depp to be Sean Connery.
Especially these days.
He could probably pull it off. Yeah, he could probably pull it off. But you know what I mean? And we're asked to be a lot.
All things.
All things. And it's like, well, why don't I give you what I do best? Because that's what you hired me for.
What he's saying there is the exact reason why my brother had suggested that I get into writing for television. He says, because I write a lot of different types of music, you know, but even with all the different types of music I write, it still becomes sometimes a moment where, you know, not everything to everybody. But he says, you know, look, they need folks that can do this and that and the other, but there's sometimes that you can't. You have to be able to admit that, you know, sometimes you can't be what they want. I mean, we have to be. We're in an age where we have to be the young cool kid. We have to be the this. We have to be that. We have to be orchestral and all this, you know. And it's be a stress, but you know, it's nothing to complain about. I mean, let's face it, ain't no paper hat on my head, and I get to do music the same as I did when I was a child. So, and you just get paid for it now.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was my preferred summer movie of this year. I saw the movie twice, one in Paris and one here in Los Angeles, Chess Theater. How did you find a good balance to create this great score for this movie?
Repeat the last part.
Yeah.
Tu peux parler français aussi, je parle français.
Comment avez-vous créé la musique du film pour qu'elle sonne parfaitement avec l'image du film?
Merci.
Quelle était votre inspiration? Parce que le film est parfait. J'ai adoré. J'ai vu 2 fois.
Merci. First of all, doing a sequel score is always a challenge because.
I thought the sample answers to me in French.
Oh, no. Yes. I was. Oh, no, you don't. I don't think you do.
No one come over this way with that.
I think it's the same
I'm
challenge.
like so in love right now.
I think it's the same challenge doing a long-running TV series too. How do you keep it fresh while still honoring what came before?
Yeah.
And in the case of a feature film, it's often difficult because we work on individual scenes, and it's rare that we get an opportunity to watch a larger chunk of the movie or even the whole movie to get a sense of, is there too much of this theme, is there not enough of that theme. But one thing that Marvel told me at the beginning of the process that was important to them, not only with the music but the whole film, was they did not want it to feel like an Ant-Man movie, and oh, by the way, here's this new character. They wanted it to feel like a Wasp movie, you know, and by the way, Ant-Man's also in it. So musically, if there was ever a choice to be made between whether musically I was going to focus more on her character or his character, the answer was almost always her character.
Wasp, yeah.
So that was really the guiding principle throughout doing the score. Hope that answers part of your question anyway.
Thank you.
All right.
So when did you decide or knew you wanted to write music, become part of the music industry?
I've always, since I was 4, I played piano and would write little things and play my own things, improv. My first piano recital, my teacher let me play one of my own pieces. I mean, I was that kid, that brat. But my moment where I was like, oh, I could make this a job was, I was kind of like Chris, like thinking I was going to be a rock star or something, not knowing what to do with it. I was growing up in a small town And I sat in the theater. I was 8 years old, and I was also a classical music nerd. I listened to the records all the time.
That's what I do.
And I was watching Star Wars, and it was the first time that I thought, I've never heard this music. Of all those records I've listened to, so it's not just old dead composers that they use music in the movies. Like, someone writes music for movies, and so I went and became obsessed with John Williams and started figuring out this is like a job if I can just get to Hollywood.
I started writing very young. I knew I wanted a career in music. I had no idea about being a composer, being a job. I remember when my oldest brother, very influential on me, came to visit us, and about a month after he left, he called back and said, "So, how's the little hobby going?" And I swear to you, to this day, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I was like, "What do you mean, hobby?" He said, the music thing. You were, the music. He said, I told him, "Well, oh, you mean my career?" I was like, he says, "Oh, well, I didn't know it was a career. I thought it was a hobby because, you spent, 4 hours a day in front of the television and about 30, 45 minutes in front of your career." And so I immediately turned that around and started immediately, like the next day, started practicing 4 hours a day. And that went up to 8 hours a day. And as a child, I got to the point where I would practice 4 hours before I went to school. And then in high school, I went to a school where you could major in music. And then I came home from that and practiced another 4 hours a day. And it got worse on the weekends. and you kept going. But even then, when I showed up in Los Angeles, I never thought I was going to play in bands. I played with various jazz groups. I wanted to playing with anybody. I just wanted to tour. I wanted to go out there and have exciting live touring and playing and writing for me. Especially in my teens and stuff. A lot of the musicians that I really like Wayne Shorter and Herbie Hancock and Keith Jarrett, who I was really deeply influenced by. They wrote things. It's interesting how they wrote things around what they did best. And I thought, that's what I'll be able to write around things that I'm going to put on the solo album. And it's going to be great because I'm going to write around what I can do, and it's going to show what I do best. And that was the long and short of it. I didn't even watch TV at the time, so the thought of writing for television never came up until my brother Ralph, who was writing on Happy Days, was saying, you should try out this television thing. It's really cool. You write all this stuff, and I said, dude, I don't even watch television, so I don't know why I would then write for television. But as I said earlier, I ended up homeless and on the streets, and I remember one day he said there was a TV pilot that he was doing, and would you like to try and do the theme song for it? And I was, did I pay something? And he said, yeah, and I got it, but the pilot didn't get picked up, so I got nothing. And then it was in the year of the strikes that happened, I think back in '78 or something like that, or '88 or whatever it was, and the network started airing all of the pilots that they had just to try and make it through this writer's strike. They had made no deal for any of the music that they used. I mean, they had hit records to this, that, and other, and everybody's suing them up the wazoo. And I came up and I said, I saw my show on, and I said, well, do I get anything from it? And the guy said, yeah. I said, well, how much would I get for this? I said, well, he told me an amount of money. I said, really? Exactly when would I get that? He said, well, if you show up and sign this tomorrow, we'll have a check for you. And I showed up, signed, and he said, you want to take that to your attorney? I said, no, looks good to me. I signed it and got paid, and I've been in television ever since.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.